obvious differences in the human family. Some of us are serious, some thrive on comedy. Some declare their lives are lived as true profundity, and others claim they really live the real reality. The variety of our skin tones can confuse, bemuse, delight. Brown and pink and beige and purple, tan and blue and white. I've sailed upon the 7 seas and stopped in every land. I've seen the wonders of the world, not yet one common man. I know 10,000 women called Jane and Mary Jane, but I've not seen any two who really were the same. Mirror twins are different, although their features jibe, and lovers think quite different thoughts while lying side by side. We love and lose in China. We weep on England's moors. We laugh and moan in Guinea and thrive on Spanish shores. We seek success in Finland, are born and die in Maine. In minor ways we differ, in major we're the same. I note the obvious differences between each sort and type. But we are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. We are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. We are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. Dalai Lama. When I learned that this week's theme was difference, I began to think about it. I am different, of course. We all are. In my view, that's what makes life interesting. I would say I gravitate to difference. I'm a lesbian feminist who came of age in the early 1980s, and I had the good fortune to hear and meet many of the icons and writers of that era, including Audre Lorde and Adrienne Rich. It was at the celebration of Audre Lorde's life, the I Am Your Sister conference, held in Boston in 1990, 2 years before she died of cancer at the age of 58. When I went to one of the conference's eye-to-eye sessions, there I really began to understand difference. The idea behind the eye-to-eye sessions is that you break into a smallish group of people from a similar background and have a heart-to-heart discussion. It was based on Audre Lorde's philosophy that she writes about a sister outsider, a collection of her essays, that we cannot love each other until we love ourselves. This is the same theory that RuPaul, the internationally known drag queen icon, says every week on his televised program Drag Race. If you don't love yourself, how the heck are you going to love anyone else? RuPaul is one of my sources of spiritual inspiration. At the conference, I chose the white working class women eye-to-eye session. The other eye-to-eye group that I could have chosen was white lesbians. But lesbians tend to be everywhere in my world back then, and it seemed more important for me to focus on class. I still remember being in that room, with the tall windows and the high ceilings, sitting on the floor in a circle of women. It was like being back in high school, in my high school bathroom. But this time we were honestly discussing our lives, instead of masking our pain with drugs and alcohol. As I recall, the discussion that we had in that room was liberating. To make a long story short, I have absolutely no connection with anyone from my background, except that my partner and I are lucky enough to still have my 97-year-old father. But in this election year, I was reminded of my background every time I turned on the television news. I found the racism at the rallies, and I think you know which rallies, to be painful. I also also find it painful and appalling that some unnamed someone in power is fanning the flames of fear and hatred. But I also do not think that all the people in the white working class will be taken in to vote against their own interests. I also strongly suspect that the media is just showing us a slice of white blue-collar voters who are racist, etc., and that most people have neighbors and co-workers of all races, including African Americans, Muslim Americans, and Mexican Americans. And even if they don't, white working class voters can think for themselves and realize that racism and xenophobia are wrong. This election is getting under my skin. The stakes are high and it feels personal. When people tell me that they are not planning to vote, educated people who might feel more privileged than they are under their circumstances, it kind of makes me crazy. Of course, this is not a good feeling. I meditate almost every morning, and it came to me during my meditation that I need to be more compassionate. I was watching the Discovering Buddhism series, number 11, on YouTube, when Richard Gere talked about a practice that was so helpful to me that I thought I'd share it with you. Years ago, Gere started wishing every being, insect, animal, human, that he encountered with the greeting, "I wish you happiness. I wish you happiness." Gere talks about the fact that there are times that this is difficult, and that these are the times when this thought turns a destructive emotion into love. I have just started this practice and don't know where it will take me. I suspect, though, that one will be even more aware of the fact that, as Maya Angelou writes, in human family, that we are more alike than